In this beginning tutorial for new Blender users, I'm going to show you how to change the lighting and the atmosphere within your scene quickly and easily so you can kind of really feel the effects of what's going on. Because here, this isn't bad for starters, because if you notice I have a light here in the scene and shadows, but that's a rendered image. But let's go look at the plain scene. Here's the basic scene. It's kind of boring. I mean, it's a sphere and a plane that I've placed in the scene, and notice that the mode I'm looking at down here is just flat, solid shaded. So the way I like to work is I'll go into the Blender game engine, and then I'll come down over here to this render tab here and come down here and make sure your GLSL is set, your shading is set. It's by default set to multi-texture like this. Well, when you set it to GLSL and then you go back into Blender render like this, then you don't have to work in solid mode, then you can work in texture mode. And with the texture mode you have shadows for a couple lights. It used to be only with spotlights, but in a recent version they've added it for, I forget what it was, maybe, well, one of the other lights now can cast some shadows like this, and you can see it works in real time. And so that this helps to illuminate the scene already, because now you have better shadows. I can see my darker shadows and my lighter shadows versus in solid mode. It doesn't really help me build the scene. So if, yeah, I kind of like to build my scenes color and light wise oriented, instead of, I'm not kind of like a typical trained artist where you learn how to sketch first and do composition and all that. I'm kind of a hacker artist, learned the hard way. When I like to start my scenes with colors and lighting and kind of build the atmosphere and then let the scene evolve from there. And so, for instance, so then maybe I'll be working in here, and then one of the other powerful features you can take advantage of is over here in the world button down here. You can come set the mist down here. So now I have it set. You just leave that minimum at 0. This will be set down here, and here's my mist change value. You can see it in here. Even in here you can kind of see it filtering in. You can kind of get an idea where its location is. It's really close up now. So I'm just going to set it way back there for the moment, and I'm going to press F12 and hit render, and suddenly I've created this atmospheric mist in the scene. Maybe I'll move it back a little bit further. So it's not quite. So, you know, and there's my lights and my shadows. And then also another thing you can do is you can press stars, and stars are powerful. They give you a lot of just automatic stars. I like to do these with variations in color and things. If you're just changing this, you'll add a bunch of different colors to it like this. So let's press F12 here, and now suddenly I have a little starry scene, foggy starry scene with lights, and then of course, and then something else is missing. This, you know, this ground is kind of, it's cool, but it's not quite, you know, we'll just warm it up a little bit to balance out that mist maybe and see what happens. Oh, there we go. Alright, so now we have our distance blues and our stars and our mist and the whole 9 yards, and then maybe you just work from there. You know, I just kind of, even just working in this mode here helps me, because it keeps my cool colors in the distance and my warm colors in the foreground. And then, I don't know, it just helps me build my scenes one way or another. Okay, well that's it for this lesson, and I'll see you in the next lesson.